Hi, everybody. Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes. And as a reminder, tonight at 7:35 p.m., the Joe and Joe Weather Show. Well, we'll be talking about the thunderstorms in the Northeast and who's got flash flooding and who doesn't, and who has severe weather and who doesn't, along with the air quality alerts, pockets of severe weather across the U.S., and the excessive heat that continues in parts of the South and Southwest, and tropical storm warnings up for the big island of Hawaii as Calvin nears the island tonight. So that's all on the Joe and Joe Weather Show at 7:35 p.m. And speaking of watches and warnings and advisories and everything else that's going on, we've got flood watches up in the Northeast. We also have various flash flood warnings up in northern New Hampshire. Also, in and around parts of Long Island, seeing some flash flooding as well as parts of northern New Jersey from a line of nasty thunderstorms that formed right around lunchtime and has moved not very far to the east in the last 2.5 hours. So they're taking their sweet time and they are producing heavy rains. We've got severe thunderstorm watches as of 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time in parts of southern and central Kentucky, western and central Tennessee, except the southernmost part of the state, and also into southeastern Missouri, and the orange and purple indicating either heat advisories or excessive heat warnings from Mississippi all the way west into Southern California. And we also have heat advisories up for South Florida. And again, Calvin nearing the big island of Hawaii, which we'll take a look at momentarily. We are waiting for this cold front that is going to move through and actually will bring a little bit of humidity relief on Wednesday into early Thursday before the process starts all over again. But we were set up for thunderstorms today, dew points into the 70s, temperatures into the 80s, and that has set off a couple of narrow lines of storms in northeast southwest fashion. You can see it's almost like this stick that runs from northwestern Maine through western New Hampshire, southward through Massachusetts, western Connecticut, up to Long Island, and into New Jersey. As they started out only a handful of miles further to the west when that line began to develop across New Jersey from Trenton to Bergen County, and then eventually stretched up into the Hudson Valley, and those cells continue to develop northward. You can see the lightning strikes there. There's also a complex of severe weather moving rapidly southeastward uh, in southeastern Missouri and into Kentucky and Tennessee, again, as of 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And we've got some scattered storms that are down in Florida. Here's what the radar looks like. And there you see the green boxes, one in New Hampshire, one on Long Island, another one in northeastern New Jersey. With regards to flash flood warnings. And this is what we were talking about the last day or two about this particular cold front. Not everybody's going to see thunderstorms, but if you get one, it's not going to take a lot of rain to cause flash flooding. And that's pretty much how this is playing out. That there might be more cells later this afternoon and evening because the cold front is still pretty far to the west. So we're going to keep our eyes on the radar here. This stuff is developed well ahead of where the front is. Meanwhile, take a look down in western Kentucky. This is where they have the severe thunderstorm watch up. You've got some severe thunderstorm warnings that are posted for several counties there as this complex moves to the southeast. Some other cells in central Kentucky, down in Florida, central and south Florida, seeing some showers and thunderstorms across the south from Georgia all the way west past Texas into New Mexico. There's nothing on the radar at this time. A few scattered showers in southwestern parts of New Mexico and eastern Arizona, but they're not going to do anything to bring the heat down. Still going to be another day where you're going to see temperatures 110 degrees or higher in the Southwest. The Storm Prediction Center has a marginal to slight risk from Northeast Virginia up into Maine and back through Western New York and Central Pennsylvania. We see marginal to slight and even enhanced risk. The enhanced risk area in Kentucky and Tennessee, where we have these two working severe thunderstorm watches. Again, this is as of 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, so please be sure that if you're watching this later this afternoon, to go to weather.gov to get the latest updated weather information regarding severe weather in your neighborhood. Tomorrow, severe weather, southern New Jersey, Delmarva Peninsula to Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, westward through the southern Appalachians and the Tennessee Valley, and then northwesternward from there, up and down the plains and into the western lakes. And there are pockets of 2% tornado risk tomorrow. The main risk is going to be wind, up to 15% chance of 50 knots or higher, and hail. Even the possibility 10% or higher in those hatched areas you see in Nebraska, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, where the hail could be 2 inches or more in diameter. Rainfall over the next 7 days. This is kind of interesting here. It's uh, areas inland now, inland, and some of this is tonight's 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. It's convective, so you locally, if you get into some of these thunderstorms, you could easily wind up with double those amounts. So bear that in mind. That will be both for whatever happens from now through this evening, and then again late in the week when we get the next cold front to arrive. We've got heavy rains poised for central and eastern Tennessee, even nosing into northern Georgia, the inch-and-a-half line there, along the immediate Gulf Coast from southeast Louisiana to just into the Florida Panhandle, and also in western Kansas and on up into eastern Colorado. WPC continues to show a slight risk, 15 to 40% for local flash flooding, northern New Jersey, northeastward up into western Maine. And in the Hudson Valley, mainly east of the Hudson River, extends a little bit further to the west of the Hudson, but not by much. And we have a moderate risk for flash flooding in north central Tennessee, western Kentucky, southernmost Illinois, and southeastern Missouri. And that's for tonight, rest of today and tonight. Tomorrow, the slight risk shifts to Tennessee, southern Kentucky, western North Carolina, and North Georgia, with fairly amorphous area here of marginal risk that goes back to the plains, even into parts of the Southwest, and even up north, up the Mississippi, and into the western portions of the Great Lakes. So it's really about weather fronts that continue to just parade on through here every couple of days. We get these fronts when they reach the East Coast lately, they have had a difficult time moving out. This one's going to probably have a little bit of success. So these scattered thunderstorms this evening will disappear, and I think Wednesday should be a good day. We also will see the dew points come down a bit. Now, the dew points are miserable right now. They're in the low to mid 70s in eastern Pennsylvania to southern New England. So if they drop to the mid and upper 60s, which is still humid, it will feel a little bit better because your body just acclimates to this sort of stuff. Yeah, I know that's hard to believe, but it does. The humidity is just very tough. That complex of storms in Kentucky and Tennessee moves southeastward and weakens. Wednesday night should be fine. I don't think, unless there's an isolated shower or thunderstorm for Wednesday, I think we're going to be okay. Thursday, day side, most of the day will be dry, but here comes the next cold front with showers and thunderstorms late in the day, Thursday into Thursday night, from north central New York all the way down into the Carolinas. And I think there'll probably be a little bit of severe weather risk to contend with here as this front goes on through. And this one will not succeed. It will succeed. So Friday could be an iffy kind of day with the upper trough waiting to go through. So we'll see some sun. It'll be very warm. Still maybe some leftover humidity and some isolated showers or thunderstorms. But I think the humidity will take a dive on Saturday and on Sunday. And we'll get those dew points down into the upper 50s and low 60s, which will feel a whole lot better, and reasonable temperatures that will be reasonable and seasonal, with highs mostly in the low to mid 80s. So we actually may string 2 or 3 days in a row without any thunderstorms, with a little luck. So we'll see how all that plays. Meanwhile, just really quickly, let's look at Tropical Storm Calvin on the Pacific satellite. This is a very wide view, so you can see how far away it is from the U.S. mainland, where Baja California on the upper right, the Hawaiian Islands just to the west of Calvin. It's a tropical storm. Top winds are 45 miles per hour. It is going to continue its motion to the west and pass close to the Big Island tonight, and then start to move west-northwest and away from the other islands. This is going to pass, I think, far enough south so that the other islands will get some fringe effects, but there won't be anything serious here. This is not something that's going to strengthen. If anything, it's going to just continue to slowly weaken as it moves south of the Hawaiian Islands during the day Wednesday and Wednesday night. It's at 17.4, 144.4 west on the last advisory, which was at 2 p.m. Honolulu Standard Time, I believe. Let me make sure. Nope, I'm sorry, they gave you the correct one here. 8 a.m. Honolulu Standard Time. I knew it didn't look right. 17.6 and 150.5 west is the current location, which is roughly about a little less than 300 miles from the Big Island, moving west at 22. So you're talking about the center passing close to the Big Island in about 10 hours. So sometime after, say, midnight or 1 a.m. Top winds 45 miles per hour, and then it just continues to march along from there. So we'll see you tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time.